Hey guys, so I got my magic keys about a week ago, so I've been using it on my trades so far. So I thought I'd do maybe a quick tutorial and then see if this helps you in your trading as well, or maybe in deciding whether you want to get magic keys. Before you actually open a trade, this would be the first button that you have to click, open calc, followed by once you have adjusted your parameters, you can click on open trade. So this is how it looks like once you click open calc. Yeah, these two lines appear. In this case, this trade is actually a long because the profit is on top and the loss is at the bottom. But if you want to change it to a sell, all you have to do is click this little white box and then the lines will change accordingly. F7 to bring up the settings for magic keys. So when you do that, this is what would appear, this little box here. So I've set my settings for risk to be up 1% of the account, and then I'll be using equity to calculate because balance is the actual account balance, which might not shift as long as you don't close the trade, whereas equity shifts when you are in trades. So if you have multiple positions, this equity will change. So you also have a choice to change your risk percentage by fixed lot size or fixed money per trade. Okay, so this would be how I would enter a trade. So first I would click open calc, and then second I would click the open trade button after I've shifted the parameters for my stop loss and my take profit. So assuming I wanted it to be around a 12 pip stop loss, and then I'm going for around 3R of profit, I would click open trade. So sometimes if you see these errors, just go into your experts column and then look at what's happening here. So usually it's because of this thing here. You need to click and make it green, and then it should work. There we go. So if it works, the trade is executed, your lines would change to these dotted lines. Okay, so this would be how I would enter a trade. So first I would click open calc, and then second I would click the open trade button after I've shifted the parameters for my stop loss and my take profit. So assuming I wanted it to be around a 12 pip stop loss, and then I'm going for around 3R of profit, I would click open trade. So sometimes if you see these errors, just go into your experts column and then look at what's happening here. So usually it's because of this thing here. You need to click and make it green, and then it should work. There we go. So if it works, the trade is executed, your lines would change to these dotted lines. So another way would be to set your partial take profits, your final take profits, and then just leave the trade be. So if you're worried about the trade going against you, you can also set a partial stop loss, which is this button over here, the function button. So when you click on it, this thing actually pops up. So why it's 10 is because, again, I set my partial stop loss to be 10 pips distance from the entry price. So you can also adjust this to whatever price that you want, as well as how much percentage of your trade that you want to close. So you can set it to 30, but in my case, I set it to 50. Then I click OK. So you can also drag this before you finally hit the enter button to actually lock that trigger in. So once that's in, you actually see that these are the triggers that are active. So should price actually go against me and then hit my partial stop loss trigger, it will close out 50% of my position before hitting my stop loss in profit. So this way, at least I can leave my trades running while I'm not at the desk. To cancel any of these triggers that I have put in, all I have to do is re-click all these. Let's say if I want to cancel the auto break even, all I have to do is click auto break even, and then it will pop up again. And then I just need to click this auto break even button one more time, and then when it disappears, I have no more auto break even trigger in place. Same thing for the partial take profit. If I click it, it will be a solid line, and then when I unclick it, the triggers are gone. So same thing for the partial take profit as well. So that's how you take them all away if you don't need them anymore. So what about these buttons over here? The target at default as well as the target 1:2. So for these, they are actually set over here. So my default target would actually be 10 pips, while my risk reward target would be minimally 2 hours. So if I were to open a long trade and then I were to click this button over here, target 1 is to X, you'll see that this actually becomes 2 according to how far I shift my stop loss, all the while keeping my 1% risk in check. This change symbol button over here actually is for me to change which line I want to control. So you see this little big square here. If I click change symbol, the square actually moves. So that would determine which of these buttons I'm actually editing, because when we look at these, you can actually key in a specific risk that you want instead of your default risk that you put in. So for example, if I wanted to key in a 25 pip stop loss instead of my usual 10, what I would do is I would click input pips over here, and then I will click 25. Okay, yep, and then it should shift. Same thing for the profit. I'll have to click the change symbol first so that it highlights this profit with the big square. So I'll click that first, and then I will click input pips, and then I'll change it to 25, and then click enter. You should see that the profit actually shifts to 25. So that's alternatively, if I want to key in a specific risk, I can also do so. So for example, I want a 5% risk on this trade, so everything changes accordingly. So there's this other button that sometimes I use as well. It's called the double order button. So what it basically does is it mimics the stop loss and the take profit, as well as the position size of your trade over here. But it might not mimic the entry price because price might have moved by then. So in this example, if I were to key in double order, you see that the entry price is actually different, but the stop loss and the take profit is actually the same. So is the number of units. So the steps for this would be, firstly, my first trade will have to be keyed first. So open calc followed by open trade. So the first trade will be keyed in over here. Subsequently, I key in double order immediately after, and then the second line should appear. So that's all for the mini tutorial that I have for magic keys. If you have any other questions, just let me know. If not, then just feel free to DM me or write any of your questions down in the comments below.